Greetings, this is Sean again, and today I am going to be showing you how I made my little radio that actually was prompted by one of Ara's prompts last week. I was actually intending to make one of these myself last week, but with the contest and everything else that came up, somebody else's project got chosen. So anyway, I'm going to show you how I made this, and this is actually a little twist that I did on Ara's radio. This is actually her design. I left all of the little decorations and stuff off that she had done. I just wanted to keep it simple, but it's actually a little bit more complex, as this is my wire. It actually has a USB plug that if I plug it in, it actually plays. So, anyway, that's my little twist on Ara's radio that she had made. So, anyway, I will show you how I made this. I actually ended up having to make it a little bit deeper to be able to hold all the electronics that are inside of it. And it does, like I say, it plugs into a USB plug. So, this is just going to be the first of... I can put different sounds and whatnot into it, although I've got it all sealed up, but if I ever make any more of these, I'll make it to where I can get into it and change the sounds and whatnot that are in it. But anyway, this was fun. It was challenging, and yeah, my wrist, it's gotten worse. It was actually doing pretty good, but I was doing something for this project that I ended up not doing, and I ended up not using it. I tried to make some metal on my scroll saw and just tore up my wrist tendons and whatnot. But I'm okay. I'll get better. This is one of those things that only last a couple days. So anyway, hope you enjoyed this, and be sure to watch and see how I created that little radio. Take care and have a better day. Bye. Welcome back, and here I'm showing the electronics part first. This was quite a task. That I'm holding right there is what's known as an Arduino Beetle. Yes, I do electronics. I actually have a degree in electronics engineering, and that's what I actually I've been doing that for 30 years now, plus. Anyway, I like these little Arduinos, and they're very interesting. If you don't know what an Arduino is, they're basically a little microcontroller that you can program to do various things. They have inputs and outputs and whatnot, and this is one of the smallest ones you can actually get right here that I'm using. And the other device that has the little speaker attached to it is an MP3 player, and the MP3 player is controlled by that little Arduino there. And I've taken the speakers actually from an old cell phone that I used to have, and you take a small SD card, mini card, and it plugs into the card holder that's on that MP3 player, and that holds your music. And then you tell the Arduino what songs you want to play, and basically that's it. I could get this more complicated if I want. I could add buttons where I could hit, the next button, it would go to the next song, and volume control and all kinds of stuff, but I just wanted to keep this one simple. If there's any interest in people wanting any of these, I can make them as well, and you choose whatever song you want on it, and I can put them on, and we can make this as fancy or as simple as you want. But anyway, here I am. I'm just soldering the two halves together. I did put as you may have noticed, I did put a piece of wood in between both boards, and that was just so that they don't short each other out and whatnot while it's sitting in the radio. And down at the bottom, you can see that's the USB cord right there for the power. This could also be run off of batteries, but I didn't have that much room in here for batteries to have it. Takes at least 5 volts to run, so I just wanted to make it a USB plug that you could plug into the wall and whatnot. So here I am. I'm just drilling a hole in the back of the radio case so that I can put the cord through it and hooking that up. Okay, now I'm going to start putting the radio together. I'm drilling out a small hole where the dial goes. There's the cutout for the dial. I decided to just glue it in place instead of using the plastic and whatnot. I'm just gonna. Didn't drill all the way through. I just drilled a small hole through in the middle of it, into it, and I'll just glue that little dial in place. And then later on, I will actually take a little bit of 5-minute epoxy and drop it on top of it to make a little cover for it. You may notice up there at the top of the screen underneath the wood block, there's the black fabric that's there. That stuff, that's some tulle. And I'm just kind of making layers of it. And I was going to try and glue it, and I did actually glue it onto that piece of wood right there just to give it some stiffness. But when I put that in, put it all together with the electronics in there, there wasn't enough room. So I had to redo that part of it, and I just kind of put it in there, the tool in front of the hole, and the electronics held it in place. It's not glued in at all. So but like I said before, I did have to make it a little bit deeper of a cabinet. I wish I had made it just an extra 1/8 of an inch or 1/4 of an inch deeper, and maybe even a little bit longer. It would have given just a little bit more room. Everything was cramped, as you can see in there. It just barely fits, but it does fit, so obviously. But it wouldn't fit with that piece of wood in there, so I had to take the wood off and set that in place. Now I'm just going to clamp that together and let that dry, or cure, I should say. And I took a piece of wood that makes the dome around and soaked it in some water. It's 1/32 inch plywood, or basswood, and soaked it, and then I just put it around this little cylinder that I have, weight cylinder. And while I was gluing the other pieces in, I was letting it form up and stiffen up a little bit, although it didn't quite fit. I had to trim it back a little bit, but it ended up fitting and working. And I don't think I show it, but I actually, after I paint it here in a minute, I tested it to make sure it was still working and whatnot, and it didn't work, and I thought, well, it was working right now, but anyway, you can see that the cord got pulled out too. I don't think I've glued it in yet at this point, but I ended up super gluing the cord in. But what happened was when I pushed the cord in, I accidentally ejected the little card that holds the music, and that's why it wasn't working. So I had to take off the back, reposition the card, and and then glue the back back on so that it would work. So I didn't show it, but I did have one little issue, one oopsie. So here I'm just holding that little domed top on it until the glue dries. Okay. Now I'm taking these three, I've got these copper nails, and I'm just cutting the heads off of the copper nails to use as the knobs on the front. Here I'm just giving it a light sanding because I'm also getting ready to paint it. And I should have painted it before I put the knobs on, but oh well. And I did have a little crack in the top there from the pressure of the tool and whatnot. So anyway, while that glue is curing, I'm drilling some small holes for the three heads or three knobs to go into. I'm trying to figure out what size I need to use for a drill bit so that they'll fit. Finally got it working. So I'm just going to use some super glue to attach those knobs. Yep, I mix my epoxy on Post-it notes. And I just filled up that little hole on the front of the lens of the dials. Unfortunately, later on when I start painting, I accidentally paint over the top of it, but I just took a little bit of water and was able to clean it off, the paint off of the glue or the epoxy, so it worked out okay. It's old, makes it look kind of yellowed. I'm just giving a nice cleaning and getting ready to paint. I'm using earth brown. Like I say, nothing fancy. Keep it simple. Anyway, that's the painting of the radio, and here I'm going to do another demonstration of the sound of it, which you've already heard at the opening, but it's just my way of testing it to make sure it worked.
Welcome Costello. I'm going to New York with you. You know, Bucky Harris, the Yanks manager, gave me a job as coach for as long as you're on the team.
Look, Abbott, if you're a coach, you must know all the players.
I certainly do.
Well, you know, I never met the guys, so you'll have to tell me their names, and then I'll know who's playing on the team.
Oh, I'll tell you their names, but you know, strange it may seem, they give these ball players nowadays very peculiar
You
names.
mean funny names?
Strange names, pet names like Dizzy Dean and
Brother Daffy?
Daffy Dean.
I'm their French cousin.
French?
Gouffet.
Gouffet Dean. Oh, I see. Well, let's see. We have on the bags, we have who's on first.
Anyway, as you may have heard, that was Abbott and Costello's Who's On First routine. The whole routine is on there. I also have some old vintage commercials and a couple things where it sounds like they're dialing in, you know, and trying to tune their radio. But anyway, here's a close-up of how it looks. And anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. This was fun. I would like to make some more of these. Possibly sell them if anybody's interested. I'd do better if anybody wanted to buy one. So anyway, that's it for this week. Be sure to leave your comments below. I always read them, as you know. And have a better day, as I always say.